Hey guys, I'm Ethan, and I'm 21 this year. I made this channel to document my self improvement and entrepreneurship journey. Let me tell you a little bit about myself. So, I've been on an on and off self improvement journey for 2 years. So, all of this started back when I was in high school. You see, in high school, I was very different from how I am now. I was a very social kid, very lost. I didn't know what to do or where to go in my life, and I always hung out with the wrong crowd. My friends were always up to no good, and being a young, naive kid, I just followed them, which ended up getting me into a lot of unnecessary bullshit, and it was a lot of trauma too. I also was a very troubled kid. Um, there were a lot of private matters going on in my life, and I always felt weak. Uh, I thought that I had to put up an act in school, so I acted like a dickhead most of my school life, and I was mean to people, and I got into a lot of trouble too. And I thought that by doing that, I could show people that I'm strong, but you know, come on, you're not gonna fool anybody. So after high school ended, I just kind of wanted to separate myself from all the nonsense that was going on. So I went to stay with my grandma for a little bit, and ended up actually running a restaurant and working here and there. Then I came back and enrolled into college, and to be honest, college was not really a walk in the park either. I never really was one to be good at academics. I wouldn't consider myself stupid, but I'm just not really a studious kind of guy, especially when it comes to studying things that I'm not interested in. So I pretty much just scraped by all of college. So speaking about like the previous trauma that I had and all the things I went through, I actually fell into quite a depressive state. Uh, you know, I was binge eating every day. I was drinking, doing all sort of dumb stuff to numb the pain, um, which ended up just digging the hole deeper and making me feel worse. So now we get to about 2022, and yeah, I mean, since I wasn't really paying much attention in class, I kind of put my energy elsewhere. So I actually started a podcast with my friends called the Novice Man Podcast, which was meant to be a self-improvement podcast in which we would help other people get better. But to be fair, we were in no position to give advice because we were not doing good ourselves. So that podcast eventually failed, and I guess the approach was wrong. And I aside from the podcast, I tried to start a few like small e-commerce businesses. I tried selling jewelry online, which failed horribly, and then I also tried to sell lighters, like some creative looking lighters, and that also failed horribly. So yeah, pretty much everything I tried in my college days failed. And it was around this time too that I became morbidly obese. Like, I was the heaviest I've ever been in my entire life. I remember having heart palpitations most nights, and I would never drink water. I would only drink Coke and Sprite and all that good stuff. All the sugary stuff. And yeah, so there I was, barely sleeping and overeating and just being an idiot, to be honest. Around that time, I actually made a friend in college, and this guy, he's a bit weird, kind of like me. Well, yeah, I probably should have said this in the beginning, but yeah, in school, I was like a social guy, but after school ended, I just kind of became like a introvert. I didn't keep in touch with many of my friends. I think I still talk to two of them, but that's literally it. Like, out of every friend I've ever made in school, like, I have not heard from them. I do not know where they are, and I just hope they're doing well. So yeah, me and this guy, we were both going through like a tough time, and we kind of found comfort in each other. And one day we just like, hey man, we should really try to like be better. So we decided like, hey man, why don't we start with like the basics, hit the gym, hop on a diet, read some books, or what, all this stuff. And yeah, we did do that for a while. We ended up losing quite a bit of weight, and started to look good, started to feel better. But honestly, it didn't last. uh, Eventually things got hard, and we just quit. So then came the rebound. We kind of gained most of the weight back, and like for me at least, I was in my bed and just scrolling TikTok, watching Instagram reels, and just like being a miserable sack of shit. And yeah, it was around the time that like my diploma was coming to an end. So in our last semester, we actually had to do an internship. So during the internship, I was interning at like a smaller company. It was an e-commerce company, and I realized that I was actually learning a lot more in this short internship than my entire life in school. I felt as though most of the information was useful, and it wasn't a bunch of regurgitated nonsense from textbooks. And to be honest, I kind of liked it. And the best part was it was nice getting paid to learn. And during the internship, there was an event that kind of like changed my life. So I actually had a conference at Singapore, and I attended it. So I took the bus to Singapore because I was broke. uh, and yeah, I went to Singapore, and it was this conference where people were giving talks on stage, like entrepreneurship talks, and it really changed my perspective. I bumped into like a lot of successful people, and like I don't know, like it's as if they figured out something that I didn't, and it was obvious. Like these people were all looking good, they were successful, they were young, good looking. It's like they had everything together, and I didn't. So what changed my perspective was, I thought that maybe these people are like from like wealthy families, and they had like crazy advantages. But I actually talked to some of them, and I figured out like, damn, these people really started off where I'm starting off. Like they were just a broke young dude with a dream, and they made something of themselves. So I guess from that moment, I just wanted to become an entrepreneur because I saw how they lived, and I liked that they had full freedom and full autonomy over their lives. So after the conference, I took the bus back because, still broke. My diploma was ending, like I said, and I had a really important decision to make. And that decision was, do I continue studying and take a degree like everybody else, or do I take the risk and chase my dreams and become who I always wanted to be? So there was a few weeks of contemplation, and eventually I made my decision. I decided to burn the boats and go all in. So I decided not to continue studying and just pursue my dream, which led me to another problem. After my diploma was done, I realized that I needed a job. Because you can't just be an entrepreneur out of nowhere. You need capital to start, you need experience, you need all kinds of things. And I had none of those. All I had was a bunch of failures, and basically all I had was a dream. So I started applying for jobs, but then again, who wants to hire like a 20-year-old with zero experience? So it was around this time that like I kind of went into like another rut. It's kind of like dissatisfied because like I told myself I was gonna chase my dream, but I ended up just being on my bed, watching TikTok again, wasting my time, you know. And I guess one day I just started to hop back on self improvement. It was the most random thing ever. Uh, I thought like, hey, why don't I give myself a chance? Like I didn't know a lot of things, so maybe I took the time off to kind of learn new things and increase my chances of getting a job. I started reading a lot of books and started watching a lot of podcasts and videos, self-improvement videos, and I kind of learned a thing or two. Like, it was the most random things ever. Like, um, I started off with learning how to dress professionally because, like, I understand that I'm a young guy, so first impressions matter. If I can convey to people that I'm more mature, they would more likely take me seriously. I also learned conversational skills. I started reading books on how to talk to people, and I kind of came out of my introvert shell bit by bit. Started talking to like random strangers. When I got coffee outside, I talked to the waiter, I talked to the gardener, I talked to the security guards. I basically talked to everybody I could to gain an ounce of confidence because I know eventually I'm going to have to do an interview. So it was a few months of that, and one day I checked my WhatsApp, and one of the companies actually got back to me and they wanted to arrange an interview. So, obviously I was freaking out, like, what am I even gonna say? And yeah, so I was kind of stressing about it for like a couple of nights, and I decided that what, I'm just gonna go in there and I'm gonna try my best. So I put the best suit that I had on, which was like a cheap H&M suit that didn't even fit that great. And I walked in with this thrifted briefcase that I bought for like $5. And, I styled my hair, I did all of those things, and I did the interview. And yeah, I guess the interview went kind of well. I spent the next few weeks like waiting anxiously, like, did I get a job? Did I get it? No. One day I checked my email and boom, I got the job. And I was over the moon because I'm like, okay, like, oh my gosh, I got a job and I pulled it off, and now, I have a chance. Like, I could make some money, I could buy better things. Because bear in mind, this time I had zero money. Like, I have literally nothing. I wasn't getting an allowance. I couldn't afford to eat out. I couldn't afford to do anything basically. Most times I couldn't even put gas in like my 10-year-old car, bro. So yeah, I started working the job, and I'm still working it right now. And I guess a good thing about the job is I'm learning a lot, and I get to work from home, so there's no need to commute. And I guess it's nice to have some money. So now that brings me to my next challenge. You know, I still have a lot of things that I want to accomplish in this life. One of them being that I want to be an entrepreneur, and I want to have my own company one day, and I want to be able to provide for my family and, be a successful person and inspire others. I also want to be healthy, lose weight, look good, and, stop being like a slob, man, and feel confident. And I just want to be better overall. Like, I don't know how to describe it, but like, as a kid, you kind of have this idea of yourself, like of who you want to be. Like, you wanted to be a handsome, successful guy, but when you grow up, you realize that you actually got to work for it, and you don't just grow into that person. You have to put in the work. Which brings me to why I started this channel. I decided that, since I'm embarking on this journey to try to start my own business and try to look better and, try to be healthier, try to get in shape, try to lose the weight, I figured that I'd bring you guys along with me. I feel like there's a lot of people that fake their self-improvement journey. They exaggerate their results and stuff like that. And, I just don't want to be that. I want to just be transparent, and I want to show you guys the mundane life that I live, and, try to make something of myself. So yeah, I'm going to be bringing you guys along the journey, and, we're just going to try to achieve our goals. And I have a vision of where I want to be in the future. I want to have my own business, but I don't know how I'm going to get there. I have no idea what road to take, but I'm just going to try to put one foot forward and keep going. And no matter how many times I fail, I'm just going to keep trying and trying and trying until one day I'm able to achieve it. And I hope you guys tag along. So yeah, I guess this was like an introduction. I'm tired of living a mediocre life. I want to start reaching for the stars. I talk to so many older people and they all tell me the same thing. Life's too short to not go after what you really want. You were given a chance to live a life and make the most out of it. Even if you fail, just keep going, man. Just try. So yeah, I don't know how I'm gonna get to where I wanna be, but I'll figure it out. And I hope you guys join me. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video and got to know a bit about me. And I'll see you guys when I see you.